Hey everyone, a lot of people asking me about prices in Breakfast Point. How's the market in Breakfast Point? Is it a good time to sell in Breakfast Point? I get that question a lot. I'm Craig Duran with the Duran Group at Berkshire Hathaway HomeServices. I also live in Breakfast Point, for those of you who didn't know. We actually signed the first contract with David Weekley years and years ago. I don't remember how many years ago now, but back over in phase one. So I've watched the community grow up over the years. Very familiar with the different builders, different parts of the community now. So I wanted to try to answer those questions. How's the market doing? Let me show you what I see there, and then also talk about timing for those who are interested. I haven't done this in a while like this, so I think I'll get a little more involved than I normally do. So there were 27 sales in Breakfast Point and Breakfast Point East in the second quarter. I'm going to talk about Breakfast Point and Breakfast Point East together in a lot of this, but also want to acknowledge the differences too while we go along, because what's happening in our realtor MLS system, which is just going everywhere, Zillow, Homes.com, appraisers, all that, is that Breakfast Point and Breakfast Point East are even though they're two different communities, two different HOAs, all that, the data dealing with values of houses is sort of coming together. The agents that really understand the differences of the construction, size of lots, all those things, know some of the subtle differences. Agents that don't know Breakfast Point very well just treat it all as one thing. So I have this organized by their 27 sales in the second quarter, and I have it organized by sold date. And we're just going to go through it, and I want to comment on a few things that stand out to me. So a sale in Breakfast Point East, April 15th, $599. This was a new construction. Another one in Breakfast Point East, 2,500 square feet, sold for $691, $883. You still see buyers, at least in early April, still getting real premiums for their product. Another different builder, new construction, 2,100 square feet, $450. You can see pretty stout, dramatic difference in builders. 2,100 square feet for $450, 2,500 square feet for $691. And this, I believe, was in this is incorrectly added as Breakfast Point. I believe this is Breakfast Point East technically also. Another new build, Breakfast Point East, April 30th. Another new build, 514.9, Breakfast Point East. We did have a resale in Breakfast Point on May 5th, $495 for 2,300 square feet on 501 Ward Creek Lane. Another new construction back in Breakfast Point East, $449,900. Now at the end of May. A lot of closings normally around the end of the month. So new construction, really Breakfast Point East. Again, you can see how this is getting mislabeled. Breakfast Point East again. Just the builders' offices are mislabeling this in the data. But you can start to see some of the pricing there. More closings at the end of the month. Breakfast Point East should say resale on May 30th in Breakfast Point, 3,500 square feet with a pool, hot tub, sold for $760,000. Another one closing end of the month, Breakfast Point East, it should be $557,900. Another one, Breakfast Point East, it should say. Another one, Breakfast Point East, should say early June. You can see the pricing there. Another one, Breakfast Point East, new construction again. I think you're getting the point how new construction. We worked on these couple transactions. This was a resale in Breakfast Point for $415, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, and then turned around and helped with purchasing Long Point on the same day. New construction in Breakfast Point East. Here was another one that sold about the same time. We also helped, this was an interesting one, but helped these sellers sell 2,500 square feet resale for $619 in Breakfast Point. And then new construction. You can see more end of the month sales, new construction, Breakfast Point East. So couple of things. you can, a lot of new construction resales are having are it's tough to compete with new construction for buyers right now for a few reasons. Builders do an excellent job at saying, here's the product, here's the price, and we're going to give you these incentives. We're going to pay some closing costs, and we're going to buy down your interest rate so your interest rate is cheaper. And we'll even throw in a few things for you. If you know anybody shopping new construction soon, I highly advise talking to any real estate professional outside of the builder's offices to see what you can negotiate. I've seen builders throw in blinds, appliances, paint, and fencing right now. They're more than willing to get transactions closed because the market's slow for them too. What sellers who are selling a resale can still do to compete with the new construction, especially on the interest rate, is a seller can also buy down an interest rate for a buyer. So a buyer can walk in and get a 5 point something percent interest rate with a builder. You can do the same thing on a resale. It just has to be marketed correctly. The seller has to understand that. So that's one thing I would tell you to think about. In terms of the market generally and timing, we always watch this months of inventory number. June of this year, we were at 7.72 for the entire beach. This is on any home built up to 2022. I want to take the resales or the new construction out of this so we can just focus on how the market is for resales. 7.72 isn't terrible. You can see it's better than it was in January. It's actually slightly better on paper than last year. Pricing, June of last year, we're a little bit lower. We've seen some depreciation in the market, June of last year, June of this year. So the sales, the pace of sales is slightly better. Prices are coming down. I think most sellers who are serious about selling understand that and are pricing correctly. That's helping the market move for those people who are selling a resale. As far as timing, the housing market's a little more, I think it's a little more of a gray area to predict than the condo market. I think a lot of the housing market is sitting there waiting on an interest rate to be lower. If the interest rates could come down a little bit, there would probably be a lot more activity in the housing market. But until then, the market is sort of like the gears are trying to turn and they're kind of stuck. So if you're priced right, there's activity out there. We are getting some transactions closed. Resales, it is possible to get them done. You have to be priced well. And prices, there's still probably a drag on pricing. So from a timing standpoint, if it's a short-term move you're considering, you would probably want to sell sooner rather than later before prices depreciate further. Otherwise, you're committing to probably being where you are a little longer, and that could be it's a good question to know how long that's going to be before interest rates come down, before the economics change for buyers to be able to want to get out and move. If you live somewhere else and your interest rate's 3%, it's not exciting to be running out and trying to buy something. How do you replace something? Especially how do you move up if your interest rates are where they are today? So I hope this helps. If you have specific questions about your situation, I know when I go through pricing like that, so much matters on your lot, your view, the condition of your property, solar, no solar, pool, no pool. All those things matter. So, and I think that's where the art of getting things positioned properly to sell in a market that's tough when you're competing against so many aggressive builder sales. So I hope this helps. One last thing on timing. This is what our showing activity normally looks like in Florida. You would expect fewer buyers out in the market throughout the rest of the year. But that doesn't mean we don't write contracts all year round. It would just prepare you for what may be happening in the market and how that may influence things. Last thing. I'm working on, I've been talking about doing this for a long time, but I'm working on updating some marketing for Breakfast Point because I do so much in there. And I'm a big believer, obviously. And I think better marketing and being excited about a community helps ultimately resales and helps pricing. And of course, being personally invested in there, that is appealing to me for sure. But to help, we're working on a new, pretty comprehensive marketing video for Breakfast Point. One thing I would love to hear from you, depending on how you're getting this, if you're watching this video, if it's on social, just comment in the post, in the comment below, or send me a private message. Shoot me an email if you want, craig@craigduran.com. Text me 850-290-0417, or if you want to hop on a call, talk about it. I would love to hear as much as I can about the things that you love about the neighborhood. Why do you enjoy living here today? What are the things that about your house specifically, about the neighborhood, about the location, about anything that you can tell me? I would love to hear. We're going to incorporate that into the video. We'll probably be filming out there in the next, I'd say 2 or 3 weeks on a good weather day. I want to get everything when it's really, really green. Probably catch some back to school shots of seeing activity, trying to see some activity in the parks for those who don't mind, being on camera from afar, just to show vibrant community, exciting, fun place to live. So if you want to participate in that, if even one step further, I would tell you, if you wanted to even record something, hold your phone up and record a quick selfie video, or even meet with me and have our professional videographer stop by and meet you somewhere and answer a few questions on camera about why you love living here. I think a marketing video like that's out, that people see over and over and over again, this is very much going to be a Breakfast Point video, helps property values long term. We're still at mercy, it's still at the mercy of the market somewhat, but if we can have some marketing out there, I think it would help. So keep that in mind. If there's anything you can contribute, let me know. Again, I'm Craig Duran with the Duran Group at Berkshire Hathaway Home Services. Thanks for watching.